You're with the Break-a-Leggers, and we are back in London's West End at the Victoria Palace Theatre
for a revisit to Hamilton.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs this time.
Whether it's break a leg or leg it.
Before you beautiful theatre people go any further,
To make sure you've always got your finger on the theatrical pulse.
for theatre news, reviews and interviews,
You'll want to hit subscribe now.
hit subscribe now, yes. Let us know, comment below about this show or any others you are seeing. This is the second time we're coming to see Hamilton.
Yeah, we rarely revisit a show, and actually this should be the first time we're seeing the show. The tickets that we had in our previous review, which you can catch just up there, were a bit of a last minute fluke. I've got to say it was in previews then. The show is now open. It opened in awards season and it was nominated for Olivier's, of which it won. Can you remember?
Yes, it won.
Can you remember how many?
I want to say 7.
It won 7.
Yes.
Well done.
Well, I guess I know it won Best Choreography,
Yes.
Best Musical.
Yes.
Tierra got it for Burr.
Yes.
Giles Tierra got it for
Michael
Burr.
Gibson won it for King
George. The third.
Yeah.
Third. Is it third?
Yeah. Best director maybe.
I don't know if director went to Sam Mendes, because it's a bit funny how the musicals and the plays are put in the
weird.
same category for the Olivier Awards, however.
Yeah.
But it won a lot of awards.
Yes.
Lighting and maybe even set, perhaps. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I think so.
But
I think we should probably not mention it if we don't
Okay,
know, because we'll
so-
be lampooned.
Comment below which we've got right and which we've got wrong. But it won 7 Olivier Awards.
It did.
So that has happened since. That was probably about 6 months ago that we saw it last time.
Yeah.
I think we called the 4th or 5th preview.
Yeah.
When we saw it before, we had the alternative Hamilton.
We did indeed. We had Ash Hunter as Hamilton instead of Jamal Westerman. Now, apparently, we're getting Jamal today, so
Okay.
that's great. And a little Dicky Bird told me there are quite a few other understudies on. I say little Dicky Bird, actually a great resource, on Twitter,
site.
West End Understudies.
Yeah.
Do follow them because they're really good for things like this. So we actually know the cast list, but we'll talk a bit more about them later on.
So it'll be good to see it for a second time. Like I say, see our review for what we thought the first time.
Yeah, hopefully it's tightened up a little bit, even more now, and the cast are comfortable. Although with so many understudies on, who knows what's going to happen. But I'm looking forward to seeing it again, and I'm glad we have a different cast.
So stick around to find out how many legs at the end, and for the interval, when we'll give you our 30-second interval breakdown. So we've come to the interval of Hamilton here at the Victoria Palace, which means it is time for the Break-a-Leggers 30-second interval breakdown. Go! What do you think first?
Yeah, I'm glad that we're seeing a lot of the roles from a sort of alternative performance perspective. I really like that we've got something to compare it to. The show is really strong, but I'll say what I said again, if it wasn't for the ensemble it would be a much weaker piece, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it as well. I do feel as if the show is embedded. I feel as if it's got a lot more character. The alternates or the understudies are great. Loving them. It's such a good show. The audience is electric and loving it. Bring on the second act. So we've come to the end of our second time here at Hamilton at the Victoria Palace. A very different cast, quite a few people.
Yeah, there were. I'm going to count through. I'll count through differences between the last time that we saw it. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different leads, basically.
Hamilton was different. Last time we had the alternative.
I had Ash Hunter last time, and this time we had Jamal Westman.
Aaron Burr.
Last time we had Giles Tierra.
This time we had
Giles Tierra. Giles Tierra. This time we had Sifiso Mazibuko. Last time we had we had Eliza was Rachel Angot last time.
We did,
This
yes.
time we had Marsha Songcombe, and last time we had Michael Gibson as King George. This time we had Waylon Jacobs. So basically, like a cash change, really.
The front lineup.
There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and half of them were different for us this time.
So, with everybody being different, and also we were sat somewhere else. Last time we were in the first circle, was that dress circle?
Yeah.
Whereas this time we're at the very front of the grand circle.
Yes.
So, how was it for this experience? Different cast, different placing?
The cast were a mixed bag. Some of them, for me, I enjoyed their performances more. Some of them I felt had strengths in different areas compared to the last cast that we saw. Some of them I plain didn't like. But that's just me. What about you, cast-wise?
Cast-wise, I enjoyed the mix. I thought it was really different. Cast-wise, I mentioned it in the interval, but I feel as if when we saw it before, it was really slick and sharp and really on it and really empowered. This time around, I felt as if it had been a run and they had found their place and they were settled. Even the understudies, I felt, were properly embedded into their parts. A name you didn't mention there, I've just got to say who I absolutely love, who we saw last time, and that was Mr. Washington. Who is it who plays George Washington?
Yeah, he was the same in this performance.
Who is it?
That's Obioma Ugola.
I love him.
Yeah,
I think
he's one of the best things about
fantastic.
it. He really is.
Yeah, it's a great part, and he sings it and performs it so well.
Yeah.
I liked him last time, but I feel as if he was even better this time. But I enjoyed the performance still. One major difference that we both commented on, though, was the sound this time.
Yeah.
Something we said last time was great sound design.
Opposite in this one, unfortunately. Very, very poor sound depending on where you're sitting in the auditorium.
It seems to be the case, doesn't it?
And that's such a tragedy because, you know, people sit in the seats that they could ultimately afford. And a thing like sound, which you would hope you have a fair level of control over as a venue, you would want to be able to at least hear it throughout. And I know that I was missing, I would say, at least 30% of the lyrics throughout all of the songs. And I did hear other people commenting in the interval that they couldn't keep up with what was being said. They were losing plot as a result of the fact that they couldn't understand what was being said. And do you know what, Victoria Palace? That's not good enough. Sort it out.
Yeah, last time we were in the dress circle and the sound was crisp and clear. I think, remembering we had little speakers placed around the underneath of the balcony above, so we're quite close to speakers. When you're up in the grand circle
and there's nothing above you apart from the chandelier,
yeah, all you have is the main big speakers at the front of the stage,
and they've
at the top of the stage,
huge distance to travel before they hit that circle,
and they're big, and it just lost a lot of clarity apart from the quieter moments.
Yeah, where
when it's
no
one
music,
person singing, then you've
music
got everything. But otherwise, when there's a lot of stuff going on and it's very quick and trippy, that very clever artistic linguistic stuff is kind of lost.
I would probably go so far to say that if it's the first time seeing the show and they're the only tickets that you can get, don't come. Don't come. Don't put yourself through a poorer experience because you are going to need to sit in the gods. It's not the same show for me.
Yeah, I guess it's different if you know it, perhaps, because then you're going to know the lyrics. If you don't know the show at all, I think you are going to be left thinking, I do not know what is being said in this section. You can get an idea from the themes of what's going on, because it is staged extremely well, but in terms of if you don't know it and you're coming to it fresh, you're going to be left a bit short. Okay, so let's go through some of the characters. This is the first time we saw Jamal as...
Jamal Westman as Alexander Hamilton.
What did you think?
He isn't a singer. He is not a particularly great vocalist. Ash Hunter clearly comes from a musical theatre background. He knows how to sing the bits that need to be sang. I think Jamal hit the acting plot points and the progression of character quite well from an acting point of view, but he's not the full package for me.
I was the opposite. I really liked him. I thought it was really good. I thought the alternate was great. I actually thought Jamal sang it quite well. I heard him sing it at the Olivier's in the opening section when they did first number, and I was thinking, oh, he's been off here. But actually, he can sing quite well, and I enjoyed him in the show. I think he's a good actor as well, almost a bit subtle and underplayed at times, but I'd imagine that's quite a directorial decision, possibly. I would want some more meat, but I thought he did a good job. Next up, Burr. What do we think of this Burr?
I liked his... I didn't like him any more or any less than I liked Giles Terrera. I thought he was pretty much what I would hope for.
Okay, I thought he gave a more impassioned performance. I really did like him actually, especially towards the end of the building up to when he he's had enough with Hamilton and he decides to confront him.
Point.
Yeah, and then after that fatal moment as well, I thought he played that really well.
I would say I much preferred this Eliza. I thought Marsha Songkham had a better grip of character. I thought she had a fantastic singing voice, and her acting through song was better. There's no doubting that Rachel Ango can sing really, really well, but for me, the acting through the songs for Marsha, she was just a stronger point.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Fantastic voice. Rachel John, did you say?
Rachel John as Angelica.
Yeah, who we saw last time.
Yeah.
She was fantastic vocal.
She is fantastic.
This who we saw today, fantastic vocal, and yes, really strong performance. I believed everything. She really gave her soul to this part, and I believe the torment and the agony and the joy and the love, just everything was there, and the pain and the tears.
It's the best part for me. I've said it before. It's the best written part, and you've got a fantastic actress in that. Well done. Peggy Skylar Maria Reynolds, this time played by Miriam Teak Lee.
I liked her.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No,
It's
I
a
didn't
killer
like
part.
her at all.
The thing is, whoever does it on the album is a fantastic vocal. It's going to be hard to match that, but I thought this one was good. Tiny bit under, wasn't as loud in some of those key moments, flipping between chest voice and head voice, but
just wasn't, for me, she's not as an accomplished a vocalist as the previous one that we'd seen. I've got to directly compare because it's the same production in the same house. I love that part. I think the contrast between the shy and retiring and almost downtrodden Peggy, and then this sort of sexy, I mean, she is under the thumb of her husband as Maria Reynolds, but do you know what? There's a real contrast, and I love that. And I just thought that was better played in the last performance we saw rather than this one.
lastly, I think, is it King George is the last one?
King George, yep, as Waylon Jacobs, hated.
But you don't like that part.
I don't like the part. I'm so
you're
sorry.
a bit biased.
I am biased because I really just don't enjoy that. I know I Stand Alone. I know Michael Gibson won the Olivier for it, and everybody loves it. I think it's just a bit tacky. I just find it a little bit. Gosh, what are we here? It feels forced, and I hate the humour. Do you know what? Didn't enjoy the performance, but I don't like the part. So nothing personal, perhaps.
I thought he did a great job. It's big shoes to fill. It's a bit of an odd part. It's kind of the comedy role. It's a nice, refreshing change. I could tell that he was coming at it from more of a singer, dancer background. But I thought he did really well, and the audience loved him. And I thought he sang it fantastically well as well.
He was getting
as a singer.
laughs, so that's a really great thing.
So I think he did a great job as well.
One thing I will mention, last time we saw the show, we commented on Jason Pennicutt being very camp. He reined it in. Did you notice? There were elements still of OTT-ness, but I didn't get the effeminate vibe from him quite as much. I don't know whether he'd seen our last review and made some alterations to his
He's still quite
characterisation.
camp. He's still got the sass and the.
But there's just a little bit less. Like before, I just thought he was an out-and-out homo, like a raging queen. But and then I had to go and make sure Thomas Jefferson himself wasn't gay. I thought, did I miss an early LGBT icon or something? But no, I think he just wasn't that level today.
No, I didn't pick that up at all. I thought he just had his fresh vibe of who he is. I've got to say, something I absolutely love about this piece, Hamilton, period, is just the diversity of its cast.
Yeah.
I think
something to be applauded and
recognised. It is leading the way, and I'm so pleased and so proud. Quite often we'll see a show and I'll be a bit disappointed at the lack of diversity that the casting decisions in terms of diversity are just poor or just a half-assed attempt where it's like, come on, nowadays in this day and age this is leading the way to say anyone could go in the role, and it should reflect how modern society is. Anyone who's anyone can come onto a stage and fill these roles.
And I would also say that the thing with diversity is I often find that having a diverse cast draws a diverse audience, and that's something else that's so important. There are often people of different cultural backgrounds and of different races that think theatre isn't for them, but if they see people that are like them on stage, then of course it's going to be more accessible. More of that, please.
Yeah, come on, get with the age and the days and the times. Come on, other shows.
Absolutely.
I want to see the days when Oh no, do you know, we have started to see, we saw Norm Lewis. What did he go into? Phantom, and he's also gone into Les Miserables. We want to see more of that kind of stuff. Come on, let's challenge this.
Yeah.
Stuck in the old days of casting. Anyway,
let's
what
talk
else?
just about the piece, I think, for a little while.
Okay.
I've got to say, what stood out for me more being on a higher level was the lighting. I just loved the lighting. I mean,
Yes.
I noticed it last time, but in this time it really does draw focus from being above significantly higher. And I just think it's, do you know what? It's a work of art. The lighting on itself is genius.
I think it did win the Olivier Award for Best Lighting
and
Design.
rightly so. It's subtle
right.
when it needs to be subtle, and it's dramatic and moving and interesting when it needs to be as well. It never detracts from the story, but it adds this element that is almost a character on its own, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, loved it. Loved choreography, staging, costume.
We'll come back
score.
to it one more time. For me, the star of this show, and actually the reason the piece works well, I mean, Lin-Manuel Miranda's book and music are fantastic, and yes, genre defining, but the ensemble.
Ensemble. What a
It
track.
must be the most exhausting show in the West End, would you agree?
It is. It's knackering.
And I hope these guys are getting paid a decent amount, above equity minimum, for what they are doing, because they are certainly worth their pay. They are worth it.
Dancing throughout and moving throughout and
Yes.
singing throughout, so exposed. So, Legs, last time, this is the second time we have seen the show. First time we saw it, we gave it 5 legs. As we said earlier, you can check out a review. It's just up in the description, or check out back catalogue. If you were to give it legs this time, how many would you give it?
Do you know what? If this was the first time I was seeing the show, I would probably give it a 4, because there were some performances for me that felt weak. There were some, and the sound issues and my enjoyment of the show this time round would have to reflect my score. You know, I wouldn't be coming out going, oh my god, that was the best experience of my life, if I couldn't hear 30% of what was being sang, and therefore it wouldn't be a perfect show, it wouldn't be a perfect 5.
For me, I would give it 5. I really enjoyed it. Sound issues aside, that is a weaker point. That could drag it closer to a 4. However, at the end of the show, during the applause, there's kind of like this noise, like a do 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 do, sounded like almost stamping on the ground. I don't know if you noticed, and it is the sound of the seats flipping up from out throughout the auditorium, where the whole audience is just jumping to their feet. It is such an accomplished piece of writing, and through the whole journey and the art, you are just drawn to it. You care about the characters and the story, and that for me keeps it at a 5. Fantastic.
It's clearly resonating well with an audience. There are sobbing in the sadder sections. You can hear people getting out tissues and holding back tears. The lady sitting next to me wiping her eyes away. It clearly is hitting its mark, and if people are enjoying it, then good on them. You know, it's of a specific type of story, but it works well.
But hey, that's just what we thought.
Yes, I know you guys are going to agree in some places and not agree in others, and do you know what? Let us know, why not?
Please leave a comment below, let us know.
Love to hear from you, the Breaker Leggers, and we'll catch you again soon.
Bye!